Hey, what's up? Tyson France with Motion Revolver here. Thanks for purchasing our marquee lower third project. It was a lot of fun to design and build this project, so I really hope that you enjoy this project and find it easy to customize. So we'll dive right in here to the tutorial to show you how to customize the project. When you open the file up, you'll see 4 folders here in the project window. The assets folder, which is where you would import any assets that you're going to use within the project, whether it's your logo or footage or any audio. Anything that you're going to be using within the project, you insert into, or I should say import into this folder so that you know where it's at when you need it. After that, you have steps 1 through 3 here, so you can follow these in succession. We open up step 1 here, which is where we insert our logo or icon. We open up the insert logo comp, and we already have the Envato logo inserted here, so you can see how the placement works. You want it to be right in the center here, not, positioned off to one side or anything like that. Right in the middle usually works the best. So once you've inserted your logo, we move on to step 2, and we have our customization panel composition, which we'll open up first. Show you what's going on here with the customization panel. So this right down here, this live preview lower third, is basically shows you a quick example of what the 2-line lower third would look like. We can customize the elements in here by the easiest way really is to click on the color swatches here to customize within the effects panel. If you don't have the effects window open, you go up to Window and make sure that this effects control is checked on. It may not show up right in this exact location. You can move this panel anywhere you want it to be within your After Effects interface, but this is pretty much the easiest way to customize the colors and the gradients and stuff, instead of having to go down here into the timeline and click on a layer and hit the E key and then twirl that open. And it's just a lot cleaner and a lot easier to work from within the effects control window. So back to the customization process. If we look here, our first swatch says marquee panel, and the marquee panel is this white panel here that the text sits on. So if we want that to be a different color, right now it's a very slight white to light gray gradient. So if we wanted that to be a different color, all we would do is choose our new colors from these swatches here. And as you can see, we have a completely different look for our background panel. We're going to leave that as is because that purple gradient wasn't looking very good. But next thing we see here is the first line of text and second line of text. It's pretty much going to work the same way. These have gradients applied as well. So let's say, for example, we want our text to be blue. Just go ahead and change those gradients. Same thing with this here. Can change these to any color we want. So anything we're changing within this customization panel, remember, is updating throughout the entire project. So we only really have to do this once, and then every single one of our lower thirds is going to reflect whatever changes we make in here. We're going to revert this back to the red, though, because the other stuff doesn't look very good. And then we have the light bulb color. And the light bulbs, obviously, actually we can scrub. We can use the timeline here to scrub to actually see a live animated preview. So we can click on the light bulb swatch. And if we wanted, say, for example, I don't know, if we wanted blue lights instead of yellow lights, all we'd have to do is, choose our hue that we want, and there we go. Now we have blue lights that animate on and off. All right. Now, as far as this title panel, remember that this wooden title panel at the top and bottom here, that's actually optional. So I'm going to jump ahead here real quick to step 3 and open up the, I'll open up the 1 line here, and actually, let's see. I think these are not going to be part of the final comp, so I'm going to remove those. We'll get back to that in a second, but I'm going to open up this one line, and as you can see here, what we have is just the marquee panel itself without the title. This bottom layer here, if I slide this back up, as you can see, this is a layer that we can easily toggle on and off if we want to use it or not. So going back to our customization panel, if we want to leave this as a wood texture, we can change the color of the wood. Let's say we wanted a much darker wood. You know, we can come in here and maybe even make it a little bit of like a cherry or a mahogany color and make that darker. And of course, we would have to make our panel border darker. So go ahead and slide those down to make sure everything's a little bit more visible. So now we have more of a mahogany looking darker wood texture. So that's how we customize the colors. And if we didn't want a wood texture, what we would do is we'd come up here to the marquee title texture, open that up, and as you can see, what we have in this comp is just a layer with a fractal noise effect applied. And this is just supposed to emulate wood grain. It's nothing fancy, just makes it look kind of like wood grain. You can import any texture you want into this, into this comp, and make it look any way you want. Like for example, if I scaled this down, make it look more like a rougher gradient, what we would have is, as you can see, a rougher looking texture on our title panel, which actually isn't too bad looking. I kind of like the way that looks, so we'll leave it the way it is. All right, so that's the customization panel. We can change everything throughout the project right from within here. All right, so we'll close that, and then we'll go to our step 3. I already showed you the one line lower third, and as you can see, it slides up from the bottom of the screen, and we have our editable text. So if you click on the live editable text and you use your text tool up here and highlight all that text, we can type anything in here. All right, and that still animates on the screen. Kind of have a fade up here, which won't actually be part of the final file. But so if we click on the control layer and then we hit the U key to show the keyframes, we can see where the keyframing is to bring these titles on and off. We also have in and out points set that just give you reference as to where the animations are occurring. So let's say, for example, we wanted this lower third to animate on and then stay on the screen for 6 seconds and then slide off. Well, all we have to do is highlight this last set of keyframes, move that down to 6 seconds. We'll even move this out point just so we know where the out point's going to be, and then it slides back off. Also, you can change the speed in which it slides off and on by moving the last keyframe here. If we move this back, it's going to slide on or slide off really quickly. If we move it further back in the timeline, it's going to slide off really slowly. So 100% customizable. You just got to move some keyframes around to meet your needs. And this is how all of the lower thirds work. The 2 line works the exact same way. Again, this is all going to be set up pretty much like this in the final version. Again, we have our live text, so we can click on either one of these layers to change the text. And same thing with the bug lower third. You know, again, this title panel is optional. We don't have to use it if we don't want it. So that's that. And nothing really to customize in here because all that's sitting on it is the main logo. If you wanted to add like maybe more of a live text layer, you could easily do that just by creating another composition and then duplicating it in this layer, in this composition. So that shouldn't be too difficult to do. But that's all 3 of the different lower thirds. Now, of course, one of the main things that most customers want is the ability to create as many lower thirds as they need, because obviously when you're working on a show, you probably have multiple lower thirds that you need. Well, all you have to do is highlight the layer, the lower third type that you want more additional instances of, and hit the Command D key, or go up here to edit duplicate. And you can duplicate this as many times as you want. You can have an infinite amount of lower thirds, and they're all editable. There's no replacing of layers. There's no having to worry about pre-comps or anything like that. You just open up the new comp and you type in your new text, and you can render it out straight from there. And this applies to all of these lower third. You can create as many of them as you need. One thing I forgot to mention was how to customize the actual marquee title. And the way you do that is by opening up whatever comp you're working on, whatever lower third, and you go to the setup folder, you twirl open any of these setup folders. That's where the marquee titles are. So you open up the marquee title for the one line, for example, and we can type in my movie or whatever, and we go back to the one line and turn on the optional title, and there we go. We have the my movie title. So that works for any of these lower thirds. They're all the same. So that should cover all of the customizable items. That is basically that. I mean, there's really nothing more to this project other than setting your colors and entering in your text. It's extremely easy to use, very versatile, very easy to customize. So I don't believe I missed anything important, but while you're using the project, should you run into any problems or have any questions, we're always here to answer any questions or any issues that you may have. Once again, thanks a lot for purchasing our marquee lower third project, and good luck.